What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at something that actually kind of blindsided me a little bit. This is a title called From Glory to Goo, and it's basically what would happen if somebody mixed Factorio with They Are Billions, but not even really, it's not even that heavily into Factorio. It's just a factory conveyor belt game that's about churning out like billions of these little ooze monsters that are trying to kill you. But there's all these beautiful little details in here that convince me that this game is going to be a hitter. Like, I think this developer is onto something right now, and that sort of horde survival genre that They Are Billions kicked off has not really been revived altogether that much. Like, you've got, like, Age of Darkness, but that's about it. There's not a whole lot of other games that have really chased that down, and given the viral success of They Are Billions, that's actually really surprised me. Because They Are Billions had a commercial success that was somewhat equal to Vampire Survivors, and if you look today, there are a million billion Vampire Survivors knockoffs just all over the Steam storefront. But that didn't happen with They Are Billions. And that made me really, really curious, is because making an RTS is much more complicated than making, you know, an action roguelite bullet heaven is. I don't know, but either way, I'm glad to see somebody chasing down that idea. Today, we're going to play the game for about 30 minutes. We're going to check it out and see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or pass on. Right now, there is a demo that we are currently playing. As of yet, you aren't able to play this demo, but you can wishlist the game, and I'll have it for you in the description down there. You can also check out the other links if you wanted to hang out on, I don't know, social media or something, Discord, Twitter, Twitch. I'm live pretty much every single day, but let's go ahead and get started here. So we're going to pick survival mode. That's all we've got going on right now. We get to choose between heroes right now, which is pretty fun. We also get different difficulties. Apparently, we have to survive for 90 cycles in this gameplay mode. I played for about 40 or 45 cycles prior to the recording of this video. It was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. It does look like we have different maps we're going to be able to select from in the future, and also a campaign. But for right now, we have two different heroes. We have ourselves this lady right here, the roboticist. She mostly creates androids and cyborgs. I haven't played her at all, so I have no clue how she functions. I've played this guy, though, a couple of times, the Admiral, so I'll probably go with him just to keep it nice and simple and inside my wheelhouse. There's also spaceships that you can mess around with. This is the basic storyline of the game, is that you're like marooned, crash landed on the planet, and you're trying to mine enough stuff off the planet to fix your spaceship. And so you've got this on-the-ground RTS gameplay, but you've also got RPG influences in the way that your hero levels up, but you've also got like an XCOM base builder almost going on, where you're building different rooms on your spaceship to get it back up and running so that it can give you more support capacity, and it can like orbitally bombard the enemy and do all kinds of stuff like that. A lot of interesting overlapping ideas that this game is playing around with, and it's doing it in a very elegant way. And so I think we're going to check it out today. Let's dive on in. So if you've ever played an RTS before, most of this stuff is going to be instantaneously recognizable. This is our base right here, our mining center that we're going to be using in order to repair our ship. We've got a number of different panels and buttons. I'll talk about them as they become relevant. But as of right now, just like with They Are Billions, we kind of want to get to work panning and scanning around and figuring out what we want to do. There's a number of resources you need to keep in mind while you're playing this game. You've got crystals, you've got effort, you've got water, you've got electricity, and then you've got much more advanced stuff as well later on in. But for right now, the things that we want to be concerned with are largely going to be effort. And so what I'd like to do for right now is we need to put down a conveyor belt that sort of just goes out to right there. Conveyor belts in this game are not as important as conveyor belts in a lot of other factory games like Satisfactory and whatnot, but they do play an important part in this game, and that's effectively allowing you to build and also transfer logistical objects to locations. If you're already wincing about that and you don't want to do the spaghetti gore base building from Factorio, don't worry. If you boil this down, effectively what it is power lines from SimCity, the original SimCity. You just need to have, this would also, I guess, be the same idea as roads. Every building in the game just needs to be touching one of these right here. It doesn't really get too much more complicated than that from what I've seen. As of right now, what we really need to do is we need to get some water up and running. And so it'd be a really good idea for us to figure out where the solid water spots are. It looks like the absolute best water spot is right over here off to the left. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real fast, and that's going to deduct the effort from our finances. We're We're also going to build a couple more logistical lines right there, and as you can see, it will distribute the stuff with the icons, whether it be crystals, or whether it be effort, or whether it be something else to where it needs to go, so that we can start mining water out of the ground, which is going to allow us to expand our population. Your population subsists almost entirely on water. I'm guessing we have some kind of space-age Star Trek technology that allows us to do that and can just convert water into foodstuffs. This game does come strapped with its own little push pause, which is great. I like push pause in single-player RTSs like this so that I can take a breather every now and again, kind of look around, plan what I want to build next. So long as it's not PvP, I don't feel like it affects the gameplay altogether that much. And in fact, it allows the developers to be a lot more intense in the way they deploy the Op4 like against you in games like this. Now that we've got 51 water kraken, the next thing we kind of want to do is we need to build some homes for our little guys. You'll see over here that we have different classes of villagers. Now this doesn't work in an Anno-styled way. You just get these guys for building different buildings, and each one of these contributes more or less effort to the war and to you acquiring things. And so building a couple of buildings right here to really get this going, probably not the worst idea ever. I'm a little bit worried about our power grid. What's that going to do to our power? It's not actively deducting right now, so I think like 3 of those are going to have to go. We'll drop those out right there. That should take us down to +2. And then on this side, we're going to want to worry about our power grid now. So let's go ahead and work on power grid. Power grid should be fairly easy to get going. We just need to pick a direction that we want it to be in. We also need to be defensible in every direction because the goo is going to start hitting us very, very shortly. You can see it doing it right there. And so we need to get some lead flying. We need to get some bullets in the air. We need to get things cracking out here. I'm going to go ahead and I guess just put that right there. We'll click on the central building. We'll go ahead and get some power lines going. We don't have enough effort, so we'll just do those 3 power lines right there. And this is going to be one of those games where economy, economy, economy is the rule of the game. If you've ever played They Are Billions, I know I'm referencing it a lot today. That game, a lot of people think that's an RTS. It's actually a game about just managing your economy. That's it. It's no different than SimCity or City Skylines, any of those games. It's just a game about balancing numbers on a spreadsheet while using that to produce troops that you're putting in key lock points so that you can't get hit back. This game is very much the same. This game, you're going to want to plan your economy first before you do anything else. We got 225 right there. Okay. How many of these guys are working right now? Not too much of them. I do like the way that this game is precariously balanced, though, too, because as you build buildings and workers go to work in these buildings, they come out of the general pool, which means they're producing less labor. So you're going to see this +98 over here. You're going to see it going up and down wildly while I'm building buildings. And so I feel like this is one of those games that's definitely going to scratch that itch for a certain kind of player that likes to optimize and balance everything. I need more crystals. Okay, so it's going to be time for the next part of our economy. This is where it's going to get dangerous, though, because we're going to be spreading out kind of far over here. Now, we're going to need to figure out where our conveyor belts are going to go. We're also going to need to figure out with our mining situation here. We can get crystals, or we can get a drill mine. I mean, drill mine would probably be fine, but we'll start out with a crystal mine first, because I think we have a good spot over here. That'll give us 6 on that side. We could also go 4 right there, and then maybe like 4 on that side. I don't know what's going to max us out, but we definitely want to max out. There we go. We'll just start out by getting it built right now. I love the way, actually, when I first saw videos of this game, like, and it's like trailers and whatnot, I thought to myself, it looks a little bit weird with the wrenches and things flowing around, but after I've played the game for a little while, I actually like it a lot. It's weirdly dopamine releasing, seeing the flow of all the things you're building, like, redirect all over the place. We're going to need 200 for that boy right there, huh? Okay, we're also going to want to start putting in defenses here before too long. We've got good power grid. We've got good water. Our first wave is going to come in on 33. We're on 9. Right now, so we do have a little bit of time to think about it and decide what we want to do next. One principal problem I do have with the game is that the UI is very shrunk and very small. it takes some kind of like getting used to. Like a lot of the digits, for example, for the day we're on, or even this map down here. This map right here is unreadable to me. I can't read it at all. You could sometimes see a red dot moving in it to give you a rough idea of where you're being attacked from, but I think this is an area that could be improved massively. It's just too small to discern what's going on with it a lot of the time. But you find that in a lot of the UI in this game. There's kind of like little tiny numbers all over the place. And so I think we're under attack. Where are we under attack? Oh, they're attacking my... There we go. Sorry, I was talking to chat right now. They're attacking one of my power grids over here. We'll kill them off real quick and then auto repair everything. And that right there is exactly why we kind of want to think about getting some defensive grid up and running. This is going to be a game where you definitely want to have static defense on top of having like actual mobile soldiers as well. I do want to get a second mining hub up. That's only going to give us the 2. So I should have gone for the 6 over there, I think. It looks like I can get a 3 out right there. Let's go ahead and bulldoze that guy, and then we'll just simplify this real fast, and we'll take the 6 right there instead. That just makes life easier. It keeps things more organized. It also gave us some resources back so that we can start with the defensive grid. So what I'll do is I'll take these out by like 2 steps. I'll take that out by like 2 steps. We will take this out by like 2 steps, I guess, in this direction. I'm just trying to make sure that I have a turret in each direction that's going to help out with our collective defense. It's going to cost us 180 for each of these and 10 crystals, so it's going to take a little while before we're done. We do want to push out a little bit, but I don't want to be overly aggressive, just in case we get attacked from a different... Exactly, like that right there. This game is much like They Are Billions, where it seems like the slimes are aware of what you're doing with your troops. I've noticed that the second that I make contact, so I can wander around my base, there'll be no attacks, there'll be no bad guys, but the second I push out a little bit, and I like fight a couple slimes, it seems like it's programmed to wake up slimes like on the other side that'll hit you. I can't prove it. This may just be me being crazy paranoid, but it feels that way to me. Does it feel that way to you? Because it feels that way to me. Now we're just waiting for resources, so if we don't have something that's eating up crystals, we should be working on other parts of our economy. I'm going to work on my labor right there. The last thing we ever want in a game like this, one of the great crimes that you can commit in a game like this. Where am I under attack at? I can't even tell. What's under attack? Oh, there's a little guy right there. See, that's what I mean, is this mini-map is not very useful for figuring out what is exactly happening in an overall sit rep. And so I'd like this to have much better resolution and be much more visible, because I'm a mini-map referencer, all right? I look at my mini-map constantly. We're also under attack over here. We definitely need to get the defenses up and running. Let's go ahead and we'll get our first turret placed right there to defend our crystal harvester on this side, since it's an integral part of our overall survival. We also have 300 right there while we're waiting for crystals to come in. I think it's probably a good idea for us to build a barracks. So let's go ahead and... Oh, I need 15 crystals for the barracks. Oh, booty juice, dude. We're going to have to figure out more mining then. We've got a stopgap in our economy, and I don't want to push out this far right here because I can't defend it. That's my problem with pushing out over here, is that this is not crazy defensible, but it doesn't really matter. We need more crystals. That's it. We just need more crystals. Now, we do have access to a piece of technology that's called a thumper. The thumper is effectively your buildable area that you can construct inside of. I don't have enough crystals for that either, so we're going to need to get this guy hustling right here. There's our thumper. So now, once the thumper's built, we should be able to expand in different directions. Our turret is up on that side. It's now defending... Where are we under attack at? Oh, right there, too. Damn. They're coming in from everywhere right now. We just got, like, these little probing strikes all over the place that are keeping me occupied at every single moment. I'm occupado. All right, so we've got the thumper down. That's going to clear out a little bit of space. We should be able to get some very real crystal yield out of this, I think. The thing that sucks is that we're going to have to figure out how to defend it, I guess. That's our ship, by the way. You can construct little rooms, and you can repair little modules and stuff inside of here that will give you more power, give you more thrust. They will give you weapons and things. Apparently, our Marines are fighting with aliens down here. I had no idea that that was even really a thing. So it looks like this can be invaded. I must have missed that entirely when I was playing the game for a while earlier. The good news is that we appear to be winning. I should have enough crystals over here to get this up and running. So let's see if we can grab ourselves just a little bit. That only does 4 right there, huh? That's kind of a bummer. I was hoping to get a better yield out of that. Okay, well, slap it down anyways. 4 is better than nothing. Taking us up to plus 10, I think, will give us a lot more crystals to play around with while we're out and in the midst of the hinter. We also have another slime coming in right there. Little guy's trying to sneak in and get my power grid. I need 180 effort, so we still got to wait for more effort to come in. There it is. All right, another turret is now down. I just need to get all of these quadrants defended. And up until I have all of them looked after and taken care of, I'm going to be a little bit antsy in the pantsy and nervous. Now, we do want to push out a little bit. That's a major part of They Are Billions as well, is managing your economy while also figuring out how to push out into hostile territory. And They Are Billions, it's to wipe out the spawners. In this game, it's to grab free research and to grab free resources and little things like that. I think we're probably going to need another laser cannon over on this side, too. Starting to feel that way. All right, one thing at a time. These were 180 apiece. Is that what we had going on? They're 180 apiece. All right. I'm going to have to wait and see for a second before we're going to be able to make that entirely useful. But the game has a very good clip to it. This has something that is constantly occupying the player's attention. Everything that occupies your attention is also meaningful and matters, and is one of those things where this is one of those games that keeps your brain humming. It keeps you activated at all times. You can't really relax with this title, and you can feel that in the opening 15 minutes of your first run, where you're constantly just like, all right, I need to protect over here. I'm being attacked over on this side. This is happening on this side. What am I going to do over here? I can't get my units around. And then as you start to dig, you start to realize that, like, your hero unit over here, the captain, he, like, levels up. And he's got his own panel, and you can find weapons that you can equip him with. And he gets different abilities and different perks based on what you do in your run. And then there's the lair for the spaceship over here, where you've got to defend it from the aliens as well by constantly repairing and fixing these little areas of your ship to make the place more put together and to generate more soldiers and boarding units and to get more weapons that'll bomb out entire chunks of the map with, like, cluster munitions. It's cool. This is a good example of how copacetic gameplay ideas from differentiated genres can all overlap on top of each other in a very astute way to make the whole thing function. And while the game may not be much to look at in terms of graphics, like when you take a look at it, it looks like something possibly from, like, the Dune era in the 90s, like the Dune RTS, or maybe from, like, the Syndicate days, like the Bullfrog days. It doesn't matter. The graphics here are not what are going to be doing the heavy lifting. The gameplay itself is 100% doing that heavy lifting. And honestly, the developers should be, even in this early iteration, the developers should be a little bit chuffed up and proud of what they've accomplished at this early phase of their game's existence. It's very, very rare that I come across a demo that is this promising. I always hesitate to say stuff like that because every time I say something like that, the game gets abandoned and then never gets completed. And then my video is sitting there on the internet for 10 years just making me look like an absolute moron. But I can't control that. I can only control what I do. And so this is a very, very promising indie strategy demo. This is quite good. I would be very proud of this if I made it. There's a lot of really, really cool ideas here that I think are really going to come home to roost and rock out super hard. Can they get to this? How big is the... they can get to right there. Okay. I was hoping I could drop a turret right there and we would have full coverage, but I don't think it's going to work like that. As far as I can tell, it looks like they can sneak through a lane right there and they can sneak through a lane right here. So I think we're going to have to reinforce a little bit harder than we currently are. However, we do have the ability to fix one part of our ship. So I'll go ahead and get that started because we have the 20 crystals on board. We'll also go ahead and just drop a turret right there on the edge of that grid. Why not? We've got our own little power cluster over here. We might as well defend it. And see, that's why I did it right there. That's exactly why I done did it. How big is our buildable area now? We're gonna have to get a thumper along this outside edge over here as well, I think. in order to give ourselves more buildable space. But now I think I want to focus up on building army, and then we're also not generating very much effort right now, so I think we're going to want to make our residential sector a little bit bigger with our efforts for the moment too. Did they finish off repairing that yet? Oh, it's fixed. Good. What options do I have? I can do a reactor that generates electricity. I can do quarters, so more space improves the efficiency of all systems. I can get thrusters, which make them faster and more able to avoid alien boarding. I can get a manufacturing zone, which just flatly gives us passive effort for the war effort down on the planet. I can get a laboratory, which will give us research points. We can get an armory, but that doesn't have a description yet. What's up with our research? So we have to get 120 population to get to research. Okay, we're at 90 right now. I mean, we're not too far off the plot right there. How's our water surplus doing? Do we need a pump first? Each one of these drains 5 water, so we can afford 4 more of these. That's totally fine, because that's exactly what I was looking to build. And then from there, I'll probably try... I think over here is probably an okay pump spot. You kind of want to pump on the grass. You see when I put the pump down, it put down all these little suckers right here. You got to have space for the suckers, or you don't get good water. All right, and so for our water grid over here, we don't really want to have overlap, but we do want to get another water pump right there that we can put down. Defensive grid is holding. We've got 4 days until the next big attack. I kind of want to get my infantry up and running, so I'm going to let my effort pool a little bit while we wait and see. We're at 122. We've unlocked research, so we can get landmines, we can get flamethrower units, and we can get robotics. We don't have the money for any of that, so we'll wait around. Now that we're kind of looking out at the greater wide world, I got to spend some more crystals, so I'm just going to repair a module, I think. That one takes 20 crystals. What is that right there, that W? Oh, it adds weight, so you need thrust. Okay, so this is actually more complex than I thought it was going to be. That's kind of cool. So what are we low on? We've got power. Power's looking good. Let's call it a thruster. Let's build a thruster, because I think we could use some more thrust efficiency. So I'll put another thruster on the back of the ship right there. It's only costing us crystals anyways. If we can get up to 300 effort, we can build our first barracks, which I think is a really good acquisition. I think we should dive on that about as soon as possible. I do like how every single day when your resources tick, a little ship lands and then leaves. One thing that I would do is to help put, you see how this circle's right here? What I would do instead is this starts out blank, and this right here is a timer until your next delivery comes in. So if it takes 4 seconds, it would go 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, ship lands. And then when you can't see this because it's obscured by the ship, it resets back down to dim. The ship takes off again and it starts over again. So the player is always appraised of when their next batch of resources is coming in. Just a nice little piece of emergent UI right there that allows you to infer information from it. Not necessary, but it is a nice little touch. Let's go with our barracks here. Go ahead and drop them in right there. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to sneak in through this gap right here to attack it. So I think we're going to need more defenses over on this side. But getting defenses that don't disrupt my pump, I think might be a problem. Now, it doesn't look like... Oh, no, it is. I can see it kind of underneath the footprint right there. As I say, I might be able to sneak one in through the back. Oh, we're under attack right now from the northeast. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get our units into position. I've got most of my base defended down there. If we start taking licks down on that side, I suppose I'll just, like, deal with it. I don't know. I would like to get another defensive tower over here just to sort of guarantee that I'm not going to get whomped. I'm a little bit worried about that elbow on that side. That's like the last spot that I haven't defended. Oh, no, is the map generated weird? Are they coming down from the left? This used to happen in the AR Billions sometimes, where the map would redirect them to a different angle. And, dude, it was like a mess. If you built your defenses already facing, like, in a direction, it could be pretty bad. Yeah, they're coming around to the left-hand side. That's going to be something we want to keep in mind, then, for future raids, is that when it says the enemy's coming from this way, they actually, due to obstructions in the terrain, they have to come around this way. So, in fact, we want to reinforce this even harder. I love that crisp sound of the gunshot that they've got right there. It's got a very nice, pleasant snap to it. That's a very, very good decision. Like, your gunshots and things don't always need to be plosive And they don't always need to be very, very punchy. Sometimes a snap works just as well. Go ahead and hit them with some missiles right there. Hit them with some AoE. Okay, fall back and let them chew on the tower for a second. Don't I know it. I had a feeling that was going to happen while I was out of the neighborhood. Okay, he's good there. And then we are under attack. Where? I don't see where we're under attack. We're definitely under attack somewhere, though. I think the turret must have got him. Like, maybe he was able to get a couple of hits off because the turret was a little bit estranged from the rest of the grid. We'll put another one right there just to defend us. Just in case, because it looks like they're going to start getting a little bit more amped on this side. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was kind of going to happen. I'll probably put another one in on that side, too. But we also need to save up for a laboratory so that we've always got research coming in. I don't think we're generating very much research right now. I'm actually having trouble locating where the amount of, I'm sure you guys see it. You guys always see it. I'm having trouble locating the spots, probably looking me right in my face right now, where my science is actively listed. Like, how many points do I actually have right this second? Oh, my captain leveled up too. Cool. So we can get a shotgun. It looks like we can get an audio stimulator. Everyone attacks faster in range. That's probably the winner. That's not bad, the audio stimulator. It's an active ability, so we're going to have to trigger it when we want to use it. But I think it'll be okay. You guys need to hurry up and get all them wrenches over here to that turret so that I can start, like, building thumpers outwards and whatnot. You want little dudes, get out of here. I love the way that the turrets spin up, too. That's such a nice little detail that they don't have a static fire rate, that they're like, like, I really, really like that. But then again, I'm always a big fan of spin-up minigun weapons and things, too. Another batch of crystals at repairing another chunk of the ship. I really like this idea of gathering stuff on the ground to repair a vanguard in the sky. I think that's such a great idea. What a great observation by the developer. I just cannot gush about this enough. This is a very, very, very strong demo. This has me very excited. Like, I don't get to play very many RTSs. It was a genre that the industry and publications and journalism was telling me, with like Tempest Rising and everything. They were like, oh, year 2023, it's the year of the RTS. And then none of them came out. There was only The Last Train, and I liked The Last Train a lot. But that was like the only RTS that we really got for like the entire year. This is what I was hoping would come out like every month or so when they were saying it was the year of the RTS. Okay, so what we can build now is that we can make an investment in ourselves, so we can get a research to get a new unit. Or we can expand out the power grid, we can expand out the water grid, get our labor to the moon so that it's pumping out way faster. But you know what, let's just go for a flamethrower guy. And then once this ticks up to 400, I'll go, oh, I like how the meter's on screen for your research. That's very nice. We also have way too many crystals right now, yet again. So let's keep repairing compartments, I suppose. Fix that up right there. Sends the shuttle to and from your base. All right. How do I make myself have more soldiers? We only have this one battalion right here. I would like to have more battalion. That gives us plus 25 to our crew. Yeah, let's get a crew quarters. Do it. I'm interested in waiting and seeing what happens here. I think I should have enough. Oh, I need 20 crystals. I also need 10 of whatever we deep core mine for in order to get a lab. So we're going to want to look into that too. Best place to put in the deep core labs, though, is kind of hard to identify. So with this drill mine right here, does it matter? I don't see an implied number, so I'm going to drop one right there just to test it on out, because we're kind of getting to where I was when I thought to myself, this is a really great game and I'm going to feature it. You know what I think it is? I think I have to send these guys back on a pod, so I'm actually manufacturing units on the planet to help defend the ship too, so that I can get out of here. That's so dope, dude. I like that so much. But yeah, my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. This is looking like it's going to be a very fantastic project. this is looking like it's going to be quite dope. And so if you are into RTSs, or you are into things like They Are Billions or Age of Darkness, this may be one to look into. I'm not gonna lie, I think I like the aesthetics of this game the best out of all of them, in all honesty. I like this kind of old school playing on an 800 by 600 CRT monitor look that they've got going on here, where it's very clearly like, I think it's 32 colors looking at it. It's hard to say, but anyways, back on old Windows versions, you could swap between like 8 colors, 16 colors, 32 colors, and your games would actually change the way that they looked back in the day in the control panel. I don't know, it's probably way far back for a chunk of my audience, but for me it feels like yesterday. I will see you all later. Thanks for hanging out, and that's about all I got for you.